What's up, Ray Sports and Slabs? We are back. It is Monday again. Yes, so pumped up. I never thought I'd be so excited for Mondays anymore, but I am thrilled. It's Monday. We are back at it again. Ray Sports and Slams brought to you by the good old people at Boink Studios. BoinkStudios.com, where you can find all the latest and greatest stuff on our website from media, pop culture, sports, and all of the above. Please check us out, BoinkStudios.com. Follow us on all social platforms. I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. I hope everybody enjoyed their Mother's Day. I know Mrs. All Day had a nice time. She got some nice Mother's Day gifts, so she was happy, and happy wife, happy life. So I am happy as well. Let me bring the triangle to the stage. First member is the president and director of operations for the Wemby Hater Society and the CEO of the Joel Embiid Hater Association, Mack Garvin.
Yes, indeed, America. Thank you so much, Ray. I want to give a shout out to Boink Studios. Want a special shout out to Garvin Getaway as far as being in your travel needs, supporting Lonnie Best, a music artist, and a guest who's in town, my Uncle Gary on my father-in-law's side. So he's here. He's from Atlanta, all things Atlanta. So I'm just making a shout out saying we're going to have a good time tonight. Let's go.
Let's go. And the third member of the group is the voodoo priest who tells us when it's going to rain and snow and hail. Walter Duncan, what's up, my friend?
Bro, you got to stop putting that out there, man. If my mom saw that, she'd be like, "Oh my God, Satan, the Lord rebuke you!" Like my mom would like trip out. You know.
Okay.
Look,
can I call you the psychic? Can I call you the psychic guru?
Anything but voodoo priest.
All right, I got you. I will refrain your title. Your title is now the voyage. Let me think. The Kreskin of sports. How's that?
There you go.
I'm gonna call Walter Kreskin. Yeah, you're Kreskin. All right, dude. Busy week. A lot of things going on in sports. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. I hope Mother's Day was nice for all y'all. So,
indeed.
Shout out to all the mothers.
Likewise.
Let's get this party started. The first topic is the NCAA tournament. Things have changed drastically, as you know. Both for the men's and women's team have expanded to 76 teams. The format adds 8 at-large teams, replacing the first 4 with a new opening round featuring 12 games over 2 days. The details on the 76-team expansion tournament starts. The new format begins in 2027. There's a lot of rumblings about this. My questions are, and my thoughts are this. I feel like you're trying to emulate the NBA with this play-in tournament. I think having all these extra teams, from my view and from my perspective, and you guys can chime in and let me know what you guys thought. So I'll go to Mack and then I'll go to Walt. I think this is actually too much. I don't want to see Appalachian State play Wyoming State. I don't want to see, Beaver Creek College play Turtle Creek College. I don't want to see these unknown teams battle to qualify to make it to the 64 teams. And that's what that's becoming. You could do it in the NBA because it's not too much. It's only 10 teams, so it's not crazy where, if you show up and play 2 games and win 2 games, you're in the tournament. But making it 76, 78 teams, I think it's just a little too much. I get it. It's a money grab. I get it. They're trying to get booster ratings up, trying to get money up there. But Mack, my 2 questions for you. Are you for this? Are you against it? Why do you think this is happening? And are you going to watch this if this actually progresses further and this becomes a thing?
Okay, so first and foremost, first question. The reality is this. Just past season, there was a team that no one ever heard of that made the 64, and it's called High Point University. None of us knew where High Point was or anything about the school, but they were kind of like, if you want to call them the Cinderella-ish team. Like, who's this team called High Point? Now, just so happened one of our good friends, Steve Bowler, his daughter attends High Point. So, of course, I knew about the school just from her going and everything about the school. But their basketball program became news because they made it to the second round. They got to the play-in, beat the first round. They're on cloud 9, 10, 11, 12. So, for them, it was a team that everyone now will look for next year, because they made into the play-in. Now, this whole idea of 76, 78, you're 100% right. I agree with you from the standpoint of it's too many teams. When is enough enough? You know what I mean? Like we had 64, and Walt will highlight of way back when of how we got to 64. But this idea of moving it to 78, it's only because of boosters and people complain enough that they make a change. I don't think it's a good idea because the idea is supposed to be March Madness. At this point, it spills into April. So it's really not March Madness. A lot of the games happen in March, but now we're going to see if it's 78. You're right. They're gonna have to air them and play them, but will America watch enough? Second part of your question, is this a good idea? Will I watch? I don't. It's bad enough now. Like, are we gonna have to do brackets with 78? Are we gonna stick with 64? It's still gonna be the brackets. Like, where does the line gonna start and end with that? I think it's overkill, but we know the number one reason why. And am I gonna officially watch all of the games? No. I'm not. It's only gonna matter to me when we get to 48 to 24, man.
I feel you.
I mean,
right.
So
you got a valid point. Before I go to Walt, first, let me applaud you. I like your comments. Let me shout out some people real quick who are in the chat. Mr. Jean Pierre, it's all for money.
Yeah, John, that's my guy, Jean Pierre. It's actually Jean Pierre, as I pronounce
Jean Pierre, sorry. Steve Halling, hey, how are you doing, my friend? Evenings, blessing. More teams may be fun to watch. My concern is that it longer becomes the best of the best, but just more TV to watch. All right, Walt, I asked you the same question I asked Mack. What are your thoughts on this? The floor is yours, sir.
So look, I think that it's good from a standpoint that the newer schools are going to be having access to the funds that come in, right? So this is estimated to generate about roughly $300 million over the next 6 years when they expand. So that's an extra $50 million a year. And so there's going to be about 100 of that money, about estimated 131 million is supposed to be allocated out or dispersed to the participating teams. So kudos to the teams for that. Now, it definitely is a money grab because, there's going to be broadcast deals and all these other stuff. But I think some of the smaller schools are going to get some exposure and, maybe some kids will want to go there. Hey, I'm right down the street from this school. I love basketball. They just made they're a sweet Cinderella stories, and I want to go play for them. So, I think it's going to have exposure for some schools. So I think in that way, it's good. As far as the tournament, I'm not sure. I don't think are any of those schools going to make a deep run. I'm not sure about that. Are they going to make that much noise? I'm not sure. It would be good TV if they did, but I'm not sure that the power schools are going to lose their spot. You know what I'm saying? To one of those smaller schools, right? So I think it's good for the schools. It's good for the NCAA's pockets, but for the fan that's watching, I'm not necessarily sure about that. And to Mack's point about the format change, it changed to 64 teams back in 1985. It doubled. It was 32 teams, then it doubled to 64 teams in 1985, and then 2001 there was another change. It went to 65 teams. 2011 it went up to they included the first four, so it became 68 teams. So they seem like they're going to keep expanding it, and it definitely is a money grab. So we have to wait and see. Yeah, if you're really into college ball like that, and you want to watch all the different games and stuff, then you may love it. But for me, like Max said, I think I really won't be interested until we get to the last 24 standing or something. Yeah. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I feel you. All right. My other questions, and I'll go to Walt and then I'll go to Mack. Now that you're going to have these extra teams, yes, I think you have an excellent point, Walt. This brings money to these teams that probably wouldn't generate this money if they didn't get into this tournament. So if it's going to help the school fund other, facets of their college, whether it's the academics, whether it's their science, music programs, other than that, beautiful. Other sports teams that need equipment, great. From that standpoint, I do understand your point, and I agree with you 100%. That's a great sell. But for the fan, for the dollar revenue fan who's paying for revenue ads, am I going to pay X amount of dollars to promote Appalachian State places, Dog Prairie University? It's just, I feel like I don't know who's going to spend this money, what companies are going to go out there and invest in this stuff. So it's unless the NCAA is going to come out of their pockets based on the whole tournament itself and say, hey, these other teams will throw you some money, for being in this, great. But if it's going to be based on them generating, their own revenue, I think it's going to be really bad. So again, Walt, what do you think about that, and what's your take on that aspect of it?
I think at the end of the day, it's for the fan aspect. I think that if you love college ball, you love college ball, and I don't think that's going to change that for you. I have to wait and see. I love the pro game a little bit more than college ball. I love basketball. That's my favorite sport, but I like the pro level game a little bit more. So I think it has to be to that individual fan, because you're right. Like if one of the power schools plays like, Hodunk University or whatever, like how much are they going to have to pay for the tickets for those fans that want to travel and see their school play, right? Is the NCAA going to comp some of that stuff for the families and stuff like that? So I think that the NCAA is doing a good thing, because the schools will have access to some funds that they probably wouldn't have before. So that's good. But from the other standpoint, I'm not sure about the fan and how that impacts them. It may bring, more revenue to that city, say one of those other schools are, ranked higher than, one of the other power schools that they play, and they have to travel there. That may bring revenue to that city. So I'm hopeful that it works out for those smaller schools, but we just have to wait and see.
Mack?
Okay. Thanks, Brother Ray. So I've got one word for you. Boosters. The boosters will be all in for it, for all of those people who are alumni that will give money back to the school. If their school is highlighted on TV, it makes it easier for the university to say, support us. It makes it easier for them to go buy their jersey or buy some alumni wear, whatever may be the case, and gets them more engaged. When they never see their team on national TV, then you're gonna be loyal to wherever you want to be. But like, I'll give you an example. If you walk by someone who went to Penn State, you say we are, they will freeze Penn State. OHIO. Because of the success that their team has on TV, when they wear the jerseys, it makes and it brings more attention to the school. So I'm for it. And I know that's how it will help with their alumni base of willingness to come to the game. You're right. Why would I come to, Appalachian State? We ain't never on TV, but now we are. Oh, I'm coming to the home game. What I mean? Buy the ticket, fly into the city. But other than that, no, because they know their basketball program is what's going to make a difference. And on the same token, if their football program is not great, or baseball or whatever else, but that's a reason why I think their outreach is going to help the universities overall. It's the boosters who want it, and then you will definitely get more involved.
All right. I agree with you, dude. Good points. Good points. Back to the fans. Eric's in the house. What's up, Eric? It's good to see you, brother. This is what bothers me. If the goal of the NCAA tournament is to find the best college teams in the country, not just 64 teams enough, wouldn't the number one team be found within the 64 teams? 76 is ridiculous. Yeah, dude. I concur with you, dude. I concur.
Yeah.
Steve is like great exposure for any Cinderella team. Change the name of the tournament to Telethon.
Yes. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate that, man.
I appreciate. Yeah. Oh my good. Max friends in the house.
My guy, CJ, what up?
What
there
up?
You go. Oh, he goes to Ohio. That's why. That's why he did that.
All right. Our next topic is Steve Kerr. Yes, Steve Kerr has re-signed a contract with the Golden State Warriors, a 2-year contract. That's valued at roughly $35 million over the 2 years, over like 17 and a half a year. The thought is that he's back because he never got to really have Curry and Jimmy Buckets play together, because Jimmy was hurt. Jimmy Butler, for those who don't follow NBA like that. Now he's got a full team. I think, from my perspective, I'm going to throw the ball to Mack and then Walt, and then I will go last. Do you think this is a good move for him to stay? Do you think Golden State will do anything with him there and the players that they have assessed? And if you were him, would you have left or would you have stayed? Floor is yours, sir.
Sure, no problem at all. So I think first and foremost, is it a good move? It offers continued stability. If they were a train wreck of a franchise and just season after season after season of losing, then be like, they need a new voice, they need a new face. The fact that Steph will have stability still versus a brand new coach, he has reinvented himself as a coach, which helped their team. And he is at least a coach if they try and get someone in the offseason that they'll want to come play for him. Should he have left? In Kerr's case, it's one of them deals like, where are you going to go? Unless you're going to retire, where else can you put a stamp on a team, an imprint on a team? You've got success of winning. Now, however, like if he went to like the Utah Jazz, the team would listen to him because the man has chips. Okay.
Facts.
However, he is staying because he knows, do I want to rebuild all over somewhere else again? No. Now, let's be honest also, too. If Steph said I want out, he wouldn't be coming back. Period.
True.
Like, so
dude,
that's
you're bringing the heat. You should check
I'm telling you, brother, it's factual data.
You should bring your fire extinguisher right now because you're on fire right now. All right, Walt, what you got, brother?
So look, I agree with Mack wholeheartedly on this. I think that the Warriors, as currently constructed, are trying to. This is kind of like their swan song, in my opinion, right? So I think it's a no-brainer move for Steve Kerr to sign an extension, and it's a no-brainer for the Warriors as an organization, right? In the 12 years, the 12 seasons that Kerr has been there, he's gotten you 4 chips, right? He's gotten you 4 championships. So, like, you still have Curry, you still have Jimmy Buckets on the team, you have some young talent, around it. So you want to see what you can do, right? Like Draymond, Jimmy, and Curry, when fully healthy, may make some noise in the West. I still think that they need a couple of more like glue guys and some added talent to their roster. Like, think about it, right? So when it was the Splash Brothers and KD, one of the glue guys was Andre Iguodala, right? So
facts.
I think they need that type of person to come in and help them with their roster in order to take them to that next level. So I think we're going to see some more moves in the offseason for the Warriors. You may see a few trades that occur with the team, but I think they're going to try to keep that core, definitely with Jimmy Buckets and Curry. But I think they're going to try to get some youth infused in there to come in there with those guys. So at the end of the day, this makes sense for me from a fan or outsider standpoint.
I agree. I mean, I hate to piggyback off both of you, but you know what I'm going to. I think he definitely should have stayed. To Mack's point, why try to rebuild a team that's a 12th or 13th seed, so to speak. Golden State did make the playoffs, without Jimmy Buckets. So you got to think in his mind, if I had a full healthy Jimmy Butler, maybe we could do some noise. And to Walt's point as well, if they get another piece, another like sixth man type of player, that team can actually be pretty decent. Steve Kerr's a winner. He has chips. And, again, to both your points, why would I want to go, to a guy that doesn't have chips? He's a 9-time NBA champion. He's 4 as a player. 5 as a player, 4 as a coach. So he's already a proven commodity. So if I'm a guy that thinks I should be starting, but I have a chance to work under Steve Kerr's tutelage, and I'm going to be a bench guy, maybe I'll take the bench job because I get to work on, I get to, be advising, maybe win a chip under Steve Kerr. So, for those young guys who are like, hey, I want to be the starting guard, I want to be the starting forward. But if I go to Golden State, I won't be starting, but man, I'll be under Steve Kerr. Maybe I'll learn something. You got a point. So I think, kudos to him, dude. I like him as a person. He's a good dude. My last question to you guys, Draymond, is he staying or is he leaving? Walt, you go first.
Should I stay or should I go? I think Draymond, if it plays out the way that I imagine it's going to play out, I think that Draymond is going to stay. If it's anything, if he say so in the matter, right? I think he'll stay. If Golden State sees the value add in him, right? He's older. He's not really a scorer. He can't defend how he used to. He's a little bit older. You may have him on the bench like we seen Kyle Lowry on the 76ers bench, not getting the game, just sitting there kind of coaching people up. So I think you may keep him there from that standpoint. But I think that's about it. I think you might want to infuse some youth. And and not to throw a wrench in this, but I shared something with you, you both via the chat that we have, and we see that a certain team has opened up trade conversations for a certain superstar. So if that works out in that way and somebody gets shipped there, then I could see Draymond being exited out because they want to build around the two other guys, Curry and Jimmy Buckets.
I got you. Mac, what do you think?
He's out of here.
Wow, Mac is calling it right now. He's saying he's gone.
I'm telling you right now, this guy has been in conversation on the trading block at least twice since he's been there. His antics and stuff that he has done, the fact that the NBA commissioner Silverman had to have a discussion with him about how many game suspension it's going to be. When right now he finished the season as a good guy, you know what I mean? Obviously, we all know that Steph definitely would want him to stay, but it's going to come down to business decisions also too. The guy, because he is a part of the glue that helped him win he brings the intangible, the Rodman kind of Dennis Rodman mentality. Like he can get some rebounds, tries to get in people's head, but also, unfortunately, there have been fans and other players that have gotten in his head also too that cause him to make bad choices. And I think if he Walt, check this to see when his contract is up, because that'll be the determining factor depending on his behavior. And if it happens again, I think for 100% sure they're definitely going to let him go. And at this point, we're seeing he's 14 seasons in the league also too. It's just going to really depend on his mentality. Now, keep this in mind also too. Steve Kerr is going to make the call. I don't think ownership will, because I think they've given him full autonomy with this franchise. Keep in mind, he played for the Bulls, okay? Way back when. I mean, I'll recall the year for you. Back in '95 when the Bulls, and it was on that three-peat run, him and Mike got into a scuffle, and Mike was on his case trying to harass him, and he turned around and punched Mike. Like, yo, get off my back. And he stood up to Mike. And Mike was like, okay. So it's not like Draymond can try and steamroll him or come in like, demand something. No, I'll cut you if you keep it up. So I think he knows that, but I think now they're at the point where, bro, your talent is starting to fade, and it's inevitable. Steph Curry is the man. You're not. They'll bring in someone else, and Jimmy Buckets can really kind of replace him anyway, technically, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be around for the next 2 years.
Unfortunately, I'm going to side with Walt. I think he's staying. I think it's too much money on his contract. I don't think someone's going to pick up that contract. I know if I'm a coach, I don't want to have him pick up that salary, because unless he opts out, I don't know how that would be constructed. Where would Golden State have to pay him if he left? If another team had interest in him, who's picking up that salary?
If he opts out, then he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. But if he doesn't opt out and another team wants him, they're gonna have to cup up that money, that $20-some-odd million, correct?
Yeah, to trade for him. Yes.
Yeah, trade. You're out of your mind. There's no way I'm doing
but
that.
Keep this in mind, fellas. Keep this in mind. If they want to, we've seen it happen already. They'll just eat the money just to get rid of them.
You know what, man?
Buyout contracts.
Just like we're goodbye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've had enough. So whether someone does or not.
Facts. All right. We're switching gears. We're staying in the NBA, and we're talking about the New York Knickerbockers. Yes, indeed. The Knicks swept the Sixers 4-0. Beat the brakes off them in game 4, I should say. Sorry about that. 114, 111. Most threes in the history of the playoffs. 43 first quarter points. This was like a butt whipping of butt whoopings. This was like I dirtied my Sunday best butt whoopings. This was I told you to be home at a certain time and you were late butt whoopings. This was crazy. McBride had 25. Jalen had 22. All right. I'm going to start this off, and I'm going to tell you these topics, and let's get into this. First, Joel Embiid, you are a train wreck. You are healthy, you are hurt. You are healthy, you are hurt. When you play okay. When you don't, you're a mess. I don't know why you made such a push to get to this point to just get mollywopped by the Knicks. Kudos to the Knicks, and I think I've said this before. You can check Raise Receipts. The Knicks are one of these teams. One day they could beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next game, they can't even beat the Sacramento Kings. So this team is such a wishy-washy team. But now, to the Knicks fans, I have to enlighten you on something. Yes, you're there. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Kudos to you. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to applaud you for doing it. But I'm going to give you a wake-up call. You haven't won a chip since the parting of the Red Sea. Since Moses brought down the Ten Commandments. I don't know what crack you're smoking. You are not the 2015-16 Golden State Warriors. You're not the late 90s Bulls. You're not the early 2000 Lakers. Heck, you're not the 2007 to 2010 Lakers. You're none of these dynasty teams. Please stop. Please stop. I urge you to stop. I'm happy you guys have got there. My wife's a diehard Knicks fan, so I'm happy you're there. I am from New York. Stop all this ish because you still haven't won anything. You're there. You have another mountain to climb. You have two mountains to climb. So please, I'm urging you, Knicks fans, please stop. Stop tapping me on the shoulder when you see me. Oh, Knicks! Please stop. Walt, the floor is yours, sir.
So, look, I appreciate that. That was a great intro segue to this next thing I have to say. That's kind of how, and I don't know about Mack. I can't speak for him. That's kind of how I felt with the whole Lakers thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know how the Knicks feel. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, man.
That's
but
different.
no, look, yeah, I know. But look,
completely different.
Look, the Knicks to me got the wake up call of their life when they lost those 2 games to the Hawks. I think they shifted into gear and they were like, hey, these guys are coming for us, and if we don't get it together, we're going to find ourselves at home with all the expectations that are on them, and they're carrying into the season, right? Yes, I think they're in a flow, and this is a time of the year that you want to get into a flow, right? So right now they're in a flow. It took a scare from the Hawks, but they're in a flow, right? This is the second series in a row when in a closeout game they scored over 140 points or more. So to me, the Knicks are locked in. I think they have a legit chance to reach the finals, but because the other 2 teams that are playing right now, I'm not sure they can deal with the Knicks. They can score and stuff like that. They play solid defense, but the Knicks did that in these last 2 games against the 76ers, a 76ers team that was somewhat fully. Look, I know Joel Embiid is a walking Band-Aid, but look, they had all their players available to them, right, to play. OG was out the last 2 games, and the Knicks still put it on the 76ers. So kudos to the 76ers. The fans, look, I understand. I'm sure I see Spike Lee all in the games. He's all hype and stuff like that. We have to wait and see. Look, they won the midseason championship, like you say, Ray. You know, the midseason champs. Let's wait and see before they start declaring like, hey, let's have a parade for them, you know, in New York, like they've already crowned them the champions. They still have some work to do, like you said, Ray. But kudos to them for doing their thing so far.
All right. Mack, what you got, brother?
Listen, I'm going to remind America there was a year that the Knicks did go to the championship, and they played against the Rockets. Game 7, Jonathan Starks stunk up the building, scored only 10, 12 points the whole game.
I still smell that. Woo.
Yeah, and of course, that's the last time they've been in America. Someone tell me the year. Our subscribers, tell me the year, and I'll definitely enlighten you. This is one of them deals, Walt, you just touched on it. They got super hype about the midseason championship, and like I said to y'all, it was one of them deals where they were celebrating like they won the chip. I'm like, these guys are really stoked. Maybe this is the most they go get. But at this point, they are playing well. And as the CEO of the Presidential Club for the Joel Embiid Hater Society, I am going on record to say that Philly got what they I shouldn't say got what they deserved. What I'm saying is that guy's so hot and cold, and he was on the court. And you're right. The fact that is it AO is what they call him or OA? The guy
OG.
was OG. He was gone, didn't matter. And Joel Embiid is on the floor. Joel Embiid had the nerve to say, I don't even know if I'm going to be back next year. Bro, you are a non-tradable asset. No one he's going to be back next year. He's been in the league 10 years. 10 years. He's been around for 10 years. And out of the 10, he's only been healthy complete season like 2 out of the 10. So I don't know what else they're going to do. But Embiid is staying with the team because they can't trade him because no one will take a risk on that guy. So I'm giving kudos to the Knicks. I hope they'll have the rest. OG hopefully can come back. But the bottom line is going to be this. Until they win a chip, they're ready to name some streets after these dudes already. Like, this is insane, bro.
Insane, dude. Oh my God. All right. Speaking of the next level, Detroit is up 2-1 over Cleveland in a series that's pitting Mr. Cade Cunningham against my man Spider. They're up 2-1. They won 113-109. They're playing great. Of course, James Harden. See him, you don't. You see him, you don't. This or that. This or that. I'm going to start this, and then I'll throw it to Walt. I'm going to say Detroit's going to win this series because Cunningham is on a mission. He looks like he is so locked in. He's willing this team to get there. I like him a lot. I like his will. And I feel like as much as I like Spider Mitchell, James Harden, like Mack always says, will fall apart and crumble like Humpty Dumpty and won't be able to put him back together again. I think this is going to be over I'm going to say 6. I'm not going to go 7. I just feel like Detroit's they play good D. And Cunningham looks like he's healthy. So I feel like he's that good that he could will this team to victory. Walt, what you got?
So, look, I think that this is going to be another 7-game series, in my estimation. I think that I'm going to go against the grain here. I think that Cleveland is going to pull this out. I think that James Harden is the catalyst here, right? And I know that he hasn't shown up in a lot of different games. But if you looked at the last game that Cleveland just won, they leaned on him in the latter moments, and he came through in the clutch for them. I know it wasn't a great statistical night, but he hit the shots when needed to, made the passes when needed to. And I think we forget about James Harden, that once he gets going, he goes on a tear for a little while, right? So I think that these next couple of games we're going to see like Houston James Ross, maybe not that level, but somewhere in between who he is now and what he was at Houston. So that's my estimation. I think that this game we're going to see Cleveland, sweep their home series, just like Detroit did. And then it's going to go back to Detroit, and then it's going to go back to Cleveland, and then it's going to come down to a pivotal game 7. That's exactly what I believe. And I think in game 7, that Spider Mitchell and James Harden, that tandem, along with the rest of their crew, is going to pull it out. I don't know why I feel like that, but I just feel like it.
Okay. Before I go to you, Mac, I want to play a little game of charades. Can you put your hands around your throat real quick?
What, me or Walt?
You, Mac.
Yeah.
Oh, James Harden. If I'm right? Okay. Thank you. Mac, what you got? Obviously, Walt is a man of faith, and boy, I don't know what glue he's sniffing, but that's okay. Who do you got and why?
Walter Duncan.
Yep.
I have no idea. Maybe the microphone is not resonating well enough, or maybe you're getting some bad radio wave interference in your headphone ears. to think that James Harden is going to help Spider win this series. He scored 9 points in the fourth quarter this past game. That guy, we've talked about this issue with him. I have sent America, just so y'all know, I send clips from other networks for the guys to be aware, and we talk and we go back and forth in the morning time. Every morning around 7 o'clock, I'll send stuff. James Harden is a head case. This man has traditionally shrunk in every playoff series. Something gets in, and we've seen it. The guy had more turnovers in game 3 than points at one point during the game. And now here we are, game 4, and he does it again. Just shrinks in the fourth quarter. He don't know what he's doing, as if he needs therapy, brother, to figure himself out. I don't know what is going on with him. Walter Duncan, America, is convinced that they're going to pull it out. Now, I don't know if this is a pie. I'm not going that far, I don't think, unless y'all tell us to. Y'all can chime in and let us know. But there is no way, the way he plays, and he's done it every time, every team he's been on. What 2? What? You got 2 for the road?
2-0, right? In the pie. So don't play with me.
It is 2-0. I'm avoiding him right now because his Kreskin powers are crazy. Let me say this, okay? You're not talking about OKC James Harden. You're not talking about Houston Rockets James Harden. You're talking about Cleveland James Harden. This dude, now let me just understand this, because maybe, my headphones are a little messed up, so maybe I don't hear you right. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I will go to Mack and then back to Walt again. Game 7, if it got to that, let's just say the skies open up and it starts snowing outside in the middle of the summer. And Game 7 is in Detroit. And some way, somehow, MC Chocolat is going to win that game in Detroit with Cade Cunningham doing what he's doing. MC Chokey Choke, DJ Chokey Choke, Choke Choke, Lord McChoke, Master of the Choke. The not even he's the beard, he's the fear of winning. Yeah, win that game. Mac, talk to him. Please wake him up.
Listen, Walt. Listen, brother, we appreciate your knowledge and wisdom, but you can fact check what I'm telling you. When he was with OKC, he was 6th man. When he came into the game, it was off and on. He came into the game, but he was not even effective. I think if you can, Walt, you can take a look. When he's at OKC, when they went to the championship, they were in the finals. The finals. James Harden came in and relieved, I think, who was it? Oh man, you can double check. But I know in that series he stunk up the room. Then when he went to the Rock, that's why he left the Rock, is because he shrunk in the playoffs when they made the playoffs when he was there, and that's why they let him go. Bro, this dude has a history of it, and that's why I said he needs therapy. He is Captain Choke City, bro. Like he can't get out of his own way. And when the first game started, I'm like, let's see if he can do it. And sure enough, game 2, that's when we went back to regular James Harden, sink up the room, turnovers out the wazoo. And at one point, and I appreciate Spider going on record in game 3. We need to create more space for James to get his shots, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's him, bro. He's just going to keep doing it until you guys lose. So, Walt, I don't know, bro. Like I hear you.
Before I go back to Walt, let me shout out some fans, because people are commenting. People are getting hyped in this. The beard has to show up.
Yes.
Jeff Peter, what's up, sir? Thank you for watching. I appreciate you tremendously. He's saying, look at this. Let's read that again. Maybe I'm not reading this right.
We'll take this series. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. All right, Walt. I'm going to call you the president of the James Harden fan club. Go ahead.
Look, like I say, like Tupac said in the song, it was Jay-Z. All I need in this world of sin is me and my girlfriend. So everybody's against us. It is what it is. Look, I just see the writing on the wall here. I know Detroit is the number 1 seed in the East. I know they have Cade Cunningham, who's a dynamic athlete. I just think and I believe that that for some reason that this is the year. I understand his history. I understand all those different things. LeBron, he did it earlier in his career, right? Everybody was talking about LeBron choking and, not being able to win a chip. And then they critiqued him from going to Miami and creating a super team and had this narrative around him. And, look, it's taken James Harden longer and to overcome that narrative. But for some reason, I think that this is the year he's with the right core, the right cast to overcome that narrative. I believe that we're going to see Cleveland win this series. I believe that with all my heart, and I believe that James Harden is going to do it. I understand what you guys are looking at. Like, you guys were sure of it, and Mack, you were laughing with that same grin when we talked about the NCAA championship. And Ray, you were laughing with the same thing when they talked about the Lakers last series. So it is what it is. So if I'm wrong, I'll eat humble pie, and I'll gladly do it. Because
all right.
But
I'm right. I don't go against Walt.
No,
Mack, if you want to do it,
come on, Ray. Don't.
No.
You know what? I don't care. Yes, I'll take Detroit. Let's go. I'm in. That's a pie on that. I don't care.
Exactly, pie on it.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. If it was in Cleveland, I would be like, you may be right. Game 7 is going to be in Detroit. Ain't going to come to Game 7, but okay. We shall see. Yeah. I hope your shirt is nice and pressed and crisp.
It's hanging up.
Yep. Good. It's hanging up good. Mine's hanging up too. I ain't going to need it. I know I'm not going to need it. I know this. This ain't happening. All right. The biggest series and the one that I'm most happy about because it's just such a good series is the Spurs in Minnesota. That's tied 2-2. Wemby, obviously Max, the president of the Wemby Hater Society, was ejected for elbowing oh my God, I'm having a brain fart right now. Naz Reid in the jaw. Mm-hmm. I will go to Walt first and then Mack, and I will close this out. Couple of questions. A, who do you like in this thus far? B, do you think Wemby should have been suspended more than just that game? Because they went, I know Adam Silver decided not to let him, not suspend him for the extra game, so he was suspended. Do you think he should have been? And do you think if Wemby was somebody else, this suspension would have gone longer? Walt, you start this off.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I think that Wemby is in some people's eyes, he's the next great one, right? He's already showing that how great he is. Like, he's so long, defensive. Like, if he's by the basket and you're trying to get a layup, he more than likely might gonna affect the shot or block it, right? So I think because the league sees how good he is for ratings and for TV, that's why they did it. It's absolutely political. I think that if it was anybody else and anybody else threw that bowl like that, that they would have been gone for at least one other game. And I think that he should have been gone for at least one other game. I think it's because it was Wemby. If Naz Reid threw a bowl, it was reversed, and he hit Wemby like that, I think we would have seen Naz Reid ejected and out next game, at least. So, yes, as far as this, who's going to take this series, I think as Ant-Man continues to get healthier, I think he will be the catalyst there. But if Wemby and team, as stay healthy and compete, I could see. I think this is going to go back and forth. This series here, 6 or 7 games, honestly. And I think it's going to come down to those last seconds, those last minutes, which team can do enough and pull away at the end. I believe that San Antonio, even when Wemby was gone, still competed in this game. They took the lead a couple of times. So they have a good team, good enough to compete without him. So I think as long as Wemby is available, that right there gives me the edge slightly towards the Spurs.
All right, Mack.
Okay.
Same question, sir.
I appreciate Walt's content. He's a man. He's philosophical in his thoughts. Again, we'll find out about that other series. I think Walt is on the right path. This is an up and down battle. As a second question, I don't know who's going to win this one. Your first question, do I think he got the right call? And Walt nailed it on the head also too. Me being the president of the Wemby Hater Society, I was first and foremost in line for this, and I'm like Ludacris, throwed him bow. He definitely did. When you take a closer look, because they slowed it down a lot, and of course I sent it to the fellas. You see this? You see this? He it looks like he kind of grazed him on his chin, but obviously the movement is up towards his chest. It looks like it was kind of in between, not necessarily square on his chin. And I think Adam Silver, just like Walt said, this guy's the face of the league. Let's just leave it at where it is. And, it would just be ejected for the one game. I won't suspend him another game. And if it had been like Draymond Green, 2 more games. Yeah. If it had been anyone else, it would have definitely been another game suspension. But because the unicorn is right now turning into the face of the league, we want good basketball competition. And we've seen what happened being gone. This was in the first quarter, mind you, too. And we've seen what happened. Ant came in, stepped in, they won the game. If he would have been gone the next game, we're almost, I shouldn't say sure, it would have been almost a slam dunk guarantee that the Minnesota would have been up and they'd have won another game because he wouldn't have been in the game at all. But because of the disparity and because of what's going on, these two teams, and you're right, Ant's getting a little more healthy. He's going to be back. He's going to be rolling. He came off the bench again. Soon as Wemby got ejected, he was in the game for the rest of the game. It wasn't like they waited till halftime.
Are you reading my notes?
So I'm like, ta-da, we wonder why they won. I'm not surprised. Now, had they lost with Ant and Wem gone, then I'd be concerned. Right. But I think that's where we're at.
All right. I will say this to Mack's point. The minute Wemby was out of there, Ant was like, yo, I am ready to go. And he looked like the Energizer Bunny. He was like, give me the rock. I got this. He was on a mission. I agree with you, Walt and Mack. If this was Nas, if this was any other center, you would have gotten the extra game. Because this is Wemby and Adam Silver wants good ratings, you're not going to tell me otherwise. That blow was on purpose. He was like, stop touching me. Blow. He did that on purpose. I think he should have gotten the other game, but like I said, he is who he is. He's the unicorn. He's one of the faces of the future of the NBA. So we're not going to do it. Ratings would have dropped if he wasn't playing. I'm going to still ride with Minnesota because I think Ant-Man is just that good. I think Anthony Edwards is a beast. And Anthony Edwards, I know you're a fan of our show. Please come to LA. It's warmer. It's nice and sunny out. I would love you on my team. I'm a big fan. I like your personality. I like your heart. He dedicated the game to his mom, who, God rest her soul, had passed away. This guy's he's a good guy. He's like mom's apple pie. He's got that whole nice kumbaya vibe, and he could play, and he's about that. So you know what? Because I like Ant-Man that much, and I filled in my application to be the AVP of the Wemby Hater Society. I'm going Minnesota. Just because, like I said, I feel like Anthony's on a mission. I think it would have been over quicker if he had gotten the extra game. Then forget it. It'd probably been over in 6. I think it's going to go 7 to your point as well, Walt, because it's just such a good series and such competitive. You know what I mean? Oh my God, Jeff is calling Mack out when Wemby got ejected.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for thinking of me, brother. Absolutely. I was stoked for today.
And Eric is sniffing the Walt glue, and he's taking the Cavs.
Cavs too. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
We all can't make good choices, Eric.
It's okay, Eric. I still love you. I mean, not everybody can be right. It's okay. It's okay. I hope your shirt is pressed. I hope you're hungry, and I hope you're ready for that pie, because it's going to be tasty. I ain't going to be eating nothing. I'm going to have a full stomach, so I'm not worried about this. All right. Now we have to go to something that's sad, and I have a lot to say. So let me take a moment of silence. And unfortunately, my LA Lakers season is probably over. Most likely, I would say 99.9% done. Here are my thoughts, and I will go to Mack, and then I will go to Walt. OKC is that team. They are that good. They are a beast team. But the fact that you're already good and you flop and you cheat, it's not necessary. You don't need to do these extra things. You're already that good. Your bench is insane. I haven't seen a bench this good in years. They have a bench. This team is stacked. You guys, if if Mack has been running all through junior high and high school and college, and I just start running in college, he's already faster than me and better than me. He doesn't need to start the race by throwing sand in my eyes. He doesn't need to do it. He's already going to probably win. That's my point with OKC. You don't need to throw sand in LeBron's eyes. You're already a better team. There was no Luka, and we had this discussion off air. Luka was he's such a factor on this team now that I feel like there's no possibility. If either one of you would like to put a pie on the Lakers coming back, I'm down for that because I will say there's no shot, and you know what? So let me know. The other point of this is LeBron. Everybody say, "Oh, this is last game as a Laker." Blah 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 blah. Everybody said this last year. If you think LeBron is going to turn down guaranteed $30-40 million max money, you're on crack. There's no way he's going to Cleveland for less money. His son's in LA. He's got businesses in LA. And to free up all that cap money would only make the Lakers better. So why would he do that? Because that would make me happy. So he's not going to do that. He's staying. And I just have to hope that Luka gets better, that Reeves signs his contract that he deserves because he's been playing like a dog. And my other comment is this to our fake center, DeAndre Ayton. Jeannie Buss, if you want to save $8 million next year, I could play center for $500,000 and do the same thing DeAndre Ayton does, which is grab no rebounds, play no defense, push the other center in the back or the other player in the back when they run by me. So that's easy to do too. I think I'm in good enough shape to at least get close enough to push the guy once he gets blow by me off the dribble. I think I have enough there to at least stretch and reach and jump and push you out of the way to get the foul. So I can foul you, miss baskets, grab no rebounds, and play no defense. So you want to save $8 million? Me, Mack, and Walt are available. I'm sure Mack would do it for $500,000. I'm sure Walt will do it for $500,000. Jeannie, give us a call. We can do the same thing. I am unloaded. I am woosah. Mack is yours.
Are you okay? Are you okay now?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay, all right.
I appreciate the love, though. I appreciate the love.
Absolutely. We were concerned in reference to you. And again, America, we talked about this off air. LeBron went on and said, do you think you guys have a chance? And his answer flat out to the media was, what do you think the challenge is with the Lakers right now? He said, we do not play sustained basketball for 48 minutes. We're up and down. They do. I'm like, wow. Thank you for your honesty. We all knew that. And I'll remind America again that Ray All Day just so happens to be a Lakers fan. Now, he said he talked to God last week. He said that Luka would be back. Game 3, if I'm not mistaken. I checked Ray's receipts. Yeah. And obviously he didn't show up in game 3. Maybe something possibly for 4. But right now LeBron is doing this, the world's smallest violin, whining for no reason. I shouldn't say whining. The man is frustrated. And it is obvious to see. When he said we can't play sustained ball for 48 minutes, to his point, he has been. It's the other guys that haven't. Your boy AR, let's see if he give him a contract extension. If they give Reeves the money he wants, good for him. I don't think he would get as much on another team because he's an asset to the Lakers. So I just don't see, them winning this series either. And I appreciate the sentiment, Ray. Bet against you for some pie. Not happening. Not this century. It's no for 100 years.
There's no shot. I'm not even staying up to watch this. My sleep is more valuable than watching them. Lose.
Yes. I'll be watching. Just I'll let you know first thing on in the morning.
You can text me in the morning and say they lost because that's like saying you both are men. Like, okay, that's some obvious. That's obvious stuff. I don't need to tell me this. Like he's wearing a yellow shirt. That's obvious. I get it.
Oh my gosh, man.
So this is so obvious. All right, Matt. Walt.
Little faith. Wow.
Yeah, I just know. DeAndre Ayton is a trash can. So go ahead, Walt.
Look, so I think that they're definitely missing Luka's 34 points a game that he averaged during the regular season. He is definitely sorely missed. And unfortunately, the injury happened at the most inopportune time for them, right? They made it past the Houston Rockets. And, I thought that they would, have a shot with Austin Reeves being back. But LeBron, in my opinion, he's still, for his age, he's still a good athlete. But in game 3, LeBron shot 7 for 19 from the field, right? And I think OKC is too good of a team for you to not be on par or on point with the shooting. He missed layups, missed open jumpers, missed open threes. And I think that, he's not the same LeBron that we're used to seeing. He's great. He's probably one of the most in shape 41-year-olds that are ever out there.
About it.
But
Absolutely.
Father Time is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is definitely the end tonight. It's over now for the Lakers, unfortunately, because they're missing their guy. If Luka was there, I think it would have been a completely different type of series that we would have been watching. The OKC is just too stacked. They don't even have their second or third best guy available. He's out with his own hamstring injury, and Jalen Williams. So they're competing and beating the Lakers on all fronts right now. The Lakers, they seem to do good, and through 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter comes, and OKC just pulls away. And the thing I don't like about OKC watching them is you can tell that they're confident, but I watched them during the game, and it seems like they're almost cocky. So part of me wishes that they would get a scare from the Lakers, and the Lakers would win 1 or 2 games in a row. But I have to live in reality and just really go with what I'm seeing. Does OKC get a lot of calls? Do they flop? Yeah, they do. But a lot of other NBA players and teams flop and carry on and embellish, as well. So, what do they say in the NFL? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
So it's part of the game.
All right. What about my point with DeAndre Ayton and LeBron?
You said I even bring him up. He's get him out of there. DeAndre Ayton, he should be one of those guys that comes in with the second unit. He shouldn't be starting. He can rebound, but outside of getting you 10 rebounds, what else do you have?
And what do you think? Do you think LeBron's staying or going? Should I stay or should I go?
LeBron has a player option, right? So he cannot, I think in his contract, he cannot be traded without saying, yes, trade me. I'm not sure that Cleveland already unless Cleveland blows themselves up and after this season, I don't see LeBron going there. And if you have an option to opt into $52,600,000, I think you're going to opt in to stay with the Lakers because it's good for your wallet, right? And his son is there. So I don't see LeBron going anywhere. And I think I read somewhere that he's trying to get the max next year for a contract of $58 million. So look, the Lakers can't trade him without him saying, trade me. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
And as you recall, last year he got his max contract. We left the Lakers with no cap money. He'll do it again. And to your point, Walt, that's a lot of money. He don't need it, but he's going to take it. And it is what it is. I don't see him leaving. It just financially doesn't make sense for him to turn down $50-some-odd million. Because if he does opt out and request a trade, he's not getting that money in Cleveland. So we're both on the same page. My man Eric Cologne says, Ray's recruiting again. Yes, I do want Anthony Edwards on the Lakers. Nothing wrong with that, Eric. I know you do too. Deep inside, you're like, yeah, I think that's good. So I appreciate the love. And my man says sweep. It is what it is, dude. All right.
Yeah, Gene.
We are switching gears and we are leaving the hoop world and we're going to the NFL world. And Jets decided to waste some money and sign Bryce Hall to a 3-year extension for $45 million. Bryce Hall is the only piece of the puzzle that the Jets have right now. He's getting $29 million guaranteed. For those who don't know, he's making more money right now than, yes, folks, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. We had this conversation off air. You let Quentin Williams go. You let Sauce Gardner go, but you have faith in Breece Hall. I don't know why. I have nothing against Breece Hall. He's a solid running back. Do I think he's McCaffrey or Saquon level? Do I think he should be one of the highest paid running backs in the league? No! But it is what it is. The Jets want to spend him his money. God bless him. Make your money, dude. I'm never going to hate on someone making money. Well, do you think he deserves this money? Why did the Jets do it? And are you in favor of it?
No, I'm not in favor of this move. Look, I understand that the Jets want playmakers and they see him as a playmaker. I think they're looking at his tape from college and his rookie year before the injury, right? Like before the injury, he was looking like, RB1. I think he ranked second before that injury happened as far as running backs were concerned. But since then, he's gone in from 19th in 2023, 16th in 2024, and the 15th ranked running back in last season. So you're talking about a mid-pack guy at best, getting like top 5, top 6 running back money. It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. The numbers aren't numbering. Whatever the math, you know what I'm saying?
Math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. There you go.
Yeah, the math ain't. I was gonna say that the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing. So, like, look, I think that kudos to the Jets trying to be loyal to this guy, but I think this is one of those deals. They're giving it. They're blessed on his potential, and not. Yes, he has the talent. But can he produce? Like, are the Jets going to go anywhere this year? Why pay that guy so much money if you're not going to go anywhere and not focus on other aspects of your team, like shoring up the defense? You got Wilson at wide receiver, and you drafted Cooper, at wide receiver. So you may have 2 dogs there, and you have Geno Smith at quarterback. Like, I guess you're trying to win now, but are you really going to do anything in a stacked AFC against everybody else? Nah, it doesn't make sense to me.
All right. Before I go to Mack, first of all, I want to applaud you. That was some stuff right there. Walt I like. Not the one that thinks that Cleveland's going to win, but this Walt is great. I like this. I like this version of Walt. The one that brings the thunder and knows what he's talking about. All right, Mack. Ball is yours, sir.
Listen, folks, we meet before we talk about these topics, and I brought up the simple fact of who else you got? You let Sauce go. You got to hold on to someone. They got this money, have to pay somebody. And in America, let's be reminded, it is the JETS, dumb. Like, they don't know what they're doing as an organization. The owner just has them as a team. He owns another team also too. I think it's either soccer or something else. Like he owns another franchise. So this is just, decorations that he's putting on his table. They have not yet done anything successful, and they're letting town go. The coach said, "We believe in you. You got to believe in somebody." They got to hold on to something. They should have held on to Sauce, I think. But Breece, he got his money. You're right. Based on his potential of what he could possibly be. That's what everyone hopes. But the bottom line is this. They had to hold on to something. They are trying to build their offense. That's why they drafted a wide receiver. They held on to I think he's in his second year, the guy they have now. And like I said before, they went and got Geno again. Mind you, they drafted Geno, America. He left, So it's one of them deals where at least we know what Geno can do. And the biggest concern is always going to be something simple as this. You either want to win or you don't. You got to start somewhere. Woody Johnson, I mean, he's the principal owner and the chairman of the team, but they're just a mess. They don't know what they're doing. They haven't for a long time. And this is what you get. They're going to be bottom barrel. They're going to be picking in the top 5 next year too.
All right. My other question to you guys, and I will go to Mack and then we'll go in that order. You could have tried to find a way to keep Quentin Williams, who I think is a phenomenal defensive player. You let Saucy Gardner go. You're going to tell me that Breece Hall, I understand you think that potentially, he could be that guy. Maybe you're paying all this money for hopes. I hope I wake up and I'm 25 years younger, but that ain't gonna happen. I just don't understand why you would put all this money in Breece Hall when you need defense. Running backs, we both can agree in the NFL are a dime a dozen right now. You really focus. The NFL is a very defensive focused league right now. You need defensive linemen, you need defensive players. You need to stop stuff. I just don't know why they're going this route. So my question to you, Mack, and then again to Walt, is it just like I have this money, I got to give it to somebody? Like, why wouldn't they invest this more on the defensive side of the ball rather than pay Hall all this money? And why are you going to put him in the same breath as a McCaffrey or a Saquon at this point? Because it's kind of insulting to those guys, because those guys got to be like, wait a minute. If this guy's getting 45 million, where's my money?
Okay, so I'll answer you one simple statement. With those two guys, running backs, we know for like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, the value of running backs were very much diminished. Like, why even be a running back? Because that is not a position that pays. We went through this curve with the NFL where there were other positions that were getting expected, anticipated money, and as they say, the market value. Then McCaffrey gets paid. We see what happens with Saquon. He comes to Philly. The guy's on the cover of Madden. They gave him a contract to get him away from the Giants. He took the money. That kind of reset the market, if you want to call it the value of running backs again. Way back when, in the 90s, 2000s, there were running backs that were called bell cow running backs. It was one guy, all purpose. And then at some point, we shifted to the idea of north and south runner, east and west scatting style running backs. And you had two because it was no longer shoulder to load with one guy. So I think what's happening is that because these guys reset the market, he knew, I'm the best you got. You have to pay me at least this, whatever that number was. And then we see now this turnabout when it comes to running backs now. Now you got kids coming into the league. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to be a running back. But before that, it almost got to the point where it was 100% devalued as a running back position. So kudos for him. He got his money. Do I think they just threw the money at him to get it for money's sake? I don't think that. It's just because Sauce didn't have a great season last year. And defense wins championship, as we know, but they got to have some building blocks to do it. And I guess they made this decision. If we can't score points, we got Geno. We picked up a wide receiver in the draft. We have a half-decent wide receiver now. We got to start somewhere. And maybe the coach maybe had the influence and decision to say, I believe in you, because at least he worked with the man for one season at this point, and he's just going into his second year as a head coach. So I don't know if that helps.
All right. Walt, floor is yours, my friend.
Look, it doesn't make sense to me. And as you corrected me, the math isn't mathing here. And I think there are too many available good defensive players, free agents, that are out there. You have Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, who was on the Eagles, who's 26 years old. Kenny Moore was just released from the Colts. You have Trayvon Diggs that's available. Serviceable guys that you can. I think Bobby Wagner is even out there. He's older, but he's a veteran, right? You get somebody like that, and you bring him in, and you need to change the culture in the building, right? That's how you turn a team around. What I think happened is that the Jets looked at their roster as currently constructed, and the decision makers are like, hey, we're going down a lane of we're just going to pay the best guys that are on the team, right? And we're going to try to keep these guys happy because, right, they added to their offense. They added the wide receiver. They added Geno Smith, who's a serviceable enough quarterback in a way. He's kind of had up and down seasons. He was good with Seattle and then had a down season with the Raiders last year or whatever team he was with. So I think, you have a serviceable enough QB in Geno Smith. But I think that the Jets chose to say, like, hey, we're going to try to outscore teams and pray our defense does enough. Look, they have Mika Fitzpatrick at safety. The Dolphins traded him there. So you do have that there, but he's older and everything. I just don't think you have enough. I would have tried to have traded Brees to get some more capital or players and bring in another running back, rookie, veteran, whatever it may be. There are some nice names available running backs out there too, who can come in and run the ball for you good enough to move the chain. So I don't like this for the Jets. I think they chose a lane to go down, and they're going to try to outscore teams and just kind of hope and pray that their defense does enough to win games.
We're going to go a third round on this because I concur with you, Walt. Why not get Trey Hendrickson? Why not get a linebacker? Bobby Wagner, yes, I agree. He's a little older in the tooth, but he's a serviceable defensive linebacker. Why not go defense? You could have gotten another running back. There was a lot of running backs in free agency. You could have picked up a veteran running back. You put all this money in a guy that's, I'm sorry, no offense, he's not that dude. So I'm going to go back to Walt again. It's like, they just do. Yep. Help me. I'm Jerry Maguire. Help me help you. Explain this to me. I don't get it. Is this just like they just didn't think? Is it in a league where they think offense is going to win now and defense doesn't win anymore? Walt, I'm asking, brother.
I don't know, man. Like I don't know what they're thinking. I can't. I'm like flabbergasted because I'm just like, I have no idea what they're
all
thinking.
These free agent defensive players, dude. He just listed them all. No Wagner, no Hendrickson, no Trayvon.
No Kenny Moore.
No Kenny Moore.
Like, come on.
Alex Alazone. Azalone. Leo Chanel.
There's a lot of guys out there, dude. I don't get it. They could
have got him as a safety.
Boom.
Boom. Facts. Max facts. I don't get it. It's okay. Well, here's the bottom line. Yes.
It's the Jets.
Okay. We're going to just leave it as the Jets.
There's nothing else better to say than it's the Jets, dumb. They don't know what they're doing, bro. I told they're a dysfunctional organization.
All right. Our last topic, and a topic that I really wanted to talk about today, and we've talked about this off air, is Dela Cruz. Why am I bringing this guy up? Because this guy is not getting the shine that he deserves. He's a shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds. The dude is crushing it right now. He's got 10 home runs, 29 RBIs. He is a phenomenon. And I think if this dude was on another major marquee team, even the sticky Mets, he would be a rock star right now. Forget the Dodgers, forget the Yankees. This guy would be crushing it there. My question is to you guys, and I will go to Mack first and then to Walt. Why is he not getting his shine? Do you see him long-term staying in Cincinnati, knowing his value and knowing how good he is and how fast he's progressing to be that guy? Because right now, MLB has him listed as the third candidate for MVP. If the MVP voting was right now, he'd be in third. Behind Ohtani and I think it would say Trout. He's that dude. So, Mack, my two questions to you, sir.
All right. First and foremost, I've had this conversation before about players who are on teams, and unfortunately, they're not a relevant franchise, so we never find out anything about him. He is standing out. He is a Mike Trout situation. This guy is at this point in history of MLB, he is the fastest to reach over 300 hits, 150 ribbies, and 100 stolen bases. He's that dude. He is that dude, but he plays for Cincinnati, which is the problem. Just like the Colorado Rockies has a team. The Diamondbacks, they have a team. The Marlins, they have a team. But because then the markets that they're in, and we've had this discussion before, if for some reason the Dodgers become a three-peat, and if they kill them, whoever they're playing in this series, like they beat them 9-4, 6-2, whatever BDK like disparaging, they will have to come together as an organization, as a league, and say, we got to put a salary cap. We can't have the disparity anymore. Our fan, it's bad enough baseball is looking for new fans, but this is not a way to get them either if it gets that bad. I think because he's in the market that he's in, but he's shining now, and that's why we're talking about him. And I think that's his situation. If he stays with this idea of loyalty, I mean, kudos to Trout, but they paid Trout. But they can't afford to pay him because of their market that they're in. And that's why I think he will leave, because he cannot get paid like he wants to, like he will deserve to be. And ownership, you say, we just can't, buddy. We just can't. And of course, every good player wants to go to a better team. And will the Yankees try and go get him? Absolutely, because they've got the Yes Network and they can pay the guy, and they'll gladly come over, and Judge will be with him and they'll be shining. And if they win a chip together, Cincinnati's going to be like, well, we're never going to do anything.
All right. Before I go to Walt, Mack, I hope you have a fire extinguisher, because you're on fire, dude. Oh, my God. You are on fire. Walt, what you got, dude? I feel what Mack said. He's got some great arguments.
Yeah, look, Ellie, he's been improving since he came into the league in 2023, right? If you look at his statistics over the last few years since he came in, his batting average has continued to increase. That means he's hitting better, right? And he's dynamic because he has the power, he has the speed, right? So I think we're just fully seeing him come into his own and, you know, just be this dynamic superstar that he's coming out to be. He's only 24 years old. So technically, he truly hasn't really even reached his prime yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, what is this guy going to be when he reaches that prime zone? And I think if the Cincinnati Reds want to do the right thing, they need to build around him and say, hey, we have this dynamic superstar in the making right before our eyes. Let's build around him. If we have to spend money, if we have to do what we have to do, let's do it. Otherwise, I feel like someone of his caliber is going to want to go somewhere else to a bigger market. I don't think it would be the Yankees. I think it would probably be the Boston Red Sox. Right? You know what I'm saying? Following in Big Papi's footsteps, following in those different things, right? Like I think you would see him there, a storied franchise, and you bring a player of his caliber there. Why not? You may turn that franchise around. So kudos to him. I'm excited to see what his because his career trajectory is like to the moon right now. So I'm excited to see where this guy ends up, and maybe we might be seeing the start of the one of the all-time great careers if he stays on this trajectory.
All right, my other point is this, and to both your points, I see both your arguments. To Mack's point, you know, he could go to a team like the Yankees and not, because he's not going to get paid on Cincinnati. But I could see Walt's point and saying, hey, you know, we're going to have to cut some people. We're going to have to sever some contracts and pay this guy. It's going to be what he wants to do. Now, he could be the king of a small pond. My argument to both you guys, he goes to a team like Boston, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets. He's going to be a medium-sized fish in a big pond, because other than Boston, it's if he goes to the Dodgers, that's Ohtani's team, no matter what you tell me. You go to the Yankees, that's Aaron Judge's team. You go to the Mets, that's Francisco Lindor's team. Boston, they don't really have a face right now, so I understand your Boston argument. But I'll go to Walt first. If he does stay, you know, do you think that would provide ammunition for other players to want to play there? And if you were him and you were to leave, what team would you want to go to?
So look, I don't think, I'm not necessarily sure when you look at the list of teams that are out there and, you know, may have some wiggle room when it comes to finances and salary cap and all that stuff. I don't think Cincinnati is going to be at the top of the list. Look, they're the Central League right now, they're at the bottom of the league. All the teams in the NL Central have winning records. So even though Cincinnati has a winning record right now, they're still at the bottom of that league currently. So I think that he would be well served to go to a bigger market if he could work that out in a trade or whenever his contract is up, right? So I don't see Cincinnati being able to attract enough talent there to build around him in that area, because I'm not sure that players are going to want to come there to play for that. I don't want to see him going to the Dodgers. I think I would see him going to a team that has legacy and is storied. I think I would see him going to the Red Sox. I just look, he would be the guy there. He would be the guy. Build around him, get some.
And he's Dominican, so there's that Dominican culture. I hear what you're saying. Valid points.
Bring him to Boston, put them on the map again, make him be the face of baseball in that city, and see what you guys can do. Because then they fired the Red Sox fired
Cora.
The Cora this year. So look, why not? They're in the midst of change. Go out and get your next guy and see what he can do.
Mac, I'll let you end this.
You know what? Walt, and I think Ray, you would agree also too. There is no way they can afford to keep him in Cincinnati. And why would someone go to Cincinnati? There's no social life as far as nightlife. I mean, every city has their quirks, but Cincinnati is packed right between two states. It's just there's no nightlife that we're aware of because they're a small market. Like, like Colorado Rockies, there's no nightlife. You're going home after the game. There's no city life in Cincinnati to really spotlight to go do. So if you're going to draw people to come to play for this city, it can't be just him the reason why you're coming. And that's the difference that LA gets. What the Dodgers get. It's nightlife. There's social life there. And that's if he's that kind of guy. It depends on the kind of player they want to try and bring and add to him. But let's go on a limb here. What if he went to where Mike Trout is? Would there be room for both of them? I think it's Trout's town to lose, but the Angels are a great organization. They've got stability. They have the capability, and he is an asset to that team. Mike Trout's not leaving the A's. But if they could plug Ellie from there to come,
well, Mike Trout's not going to leave the Angels because he's been there forever. He's married with kids, so he's not in Dela Cruz's category. Dela Cruz is 24 years old, so he's young. Mm-hmm. I don't know what his status is, if he's married, single. I don't know about that, but he's still young enough where, to Mac's point, he probably wants to go out and have fun and other than going to a Bengals game, what are you doing in Cincinnati?
Exactly, and that's why the Bengals pay for players also too, but football is another topic, but it's just, I just don't think he would, I just don't see it feasible for other players for them to cut to try and save him, to keep him, because they know he's their best asset. It's like this. There's this grass field out here and there's one lawnmower and there's a lot of broken ones in the way. He can't cut all the grass, and that's the problem. Like they don't. That's another organization where they have this gym. What do we do with him? We can't.
Dude, you're preaching. All right. The final buzzer. This is where you can ask us anything about anything. Bring the comments on. There was a lot, so let me get to them. So I apologize for folks wondering why did you read my stuff? Mr. Whitfield, owner needs a tax write-off. He's talking about the JETS.
Yeah, that's my guy, Des. Good looking out, brother. Glad you were here.
Eric Colon, perplexing the NFL general has monetarily devalued the running back position over the last several years, which I don't agree with. I do. Yet the Jets give a contract like this. Preach, Eric. There we go. The most managed team, top to bottom, the NFL, due respect to the Cowboys. Cowboys are one of the best teams in football. I don't know what you're talking about. But I agree with you 100%, dude. I don't know what they're doing, dude. And Jeff brings up a great point. Didn't people learn the lesson with Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers? Oh, my God. Oh my God. Facts, dude. All right. This is a great this is a great question. And we could guys end this with this. With Dela Cruz, Ella, if he were to go to the Mets, Lindor would have to be moved away. Anyway, I would not count on him going to Toronto to play with just Vlad. Toronto has shown willingness to throw Bingman around, so I wouldn't discount them. Just food for thought. There's no way Lindor's switching positions because Lindor. It's Lindor's team. They should call the Mets the Lindors because it's. I don't see him leaving. I don't see him switching positions. Food for thought. I would love to see it. Him go to second, but I don't see it. Yes, Vlad would have that Dominican connection, so I see your point. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Toronto has the market and the money to get someone like him because they're gonna have to pay this dude big bucks. Walt, before I go to Mack and answer the question, you could look up when does his contract end, and then I'm gonna obviously go to Mack first on this question. Do you agree with Eric? Could you see him going to either the Mets or Toronto, and if so, why? Mack, you got it, brother.
Well, you know what? Let's keep in mind Toronto just let their big fish leave. So my thought is this: like, would they be willing? Well, they didn't pay the guy named I forgot the guy's name. Who was with Toronto?
Bo Bichette,
exactly. Yeah, Bo Bichette left. They got to get someone to come to the stadium to pay these tickets and sit in these seats to watch these games. Now, do I think it's realistic? No. And Ellie, you're right. It's possible. You know what I mean? With Ellie, with Vlad, I mean, it's possible. I don't see it, man. And again, Toronto is a small market. There's nothing to do there.
And you definitely don't see him going to the Mets.
No, not the Mets. You're right. Now, mind, let's keep in mind. Let's keep this in mind. When we had the situation with the Yankees, A-Rod comes to the team. Everyone was like, why on God's green is he coming? What did the captain of the team do? He took a different stance because he knew if we get this guy, I will move positions to make sure A-Rod is comfortable being, I think it was second base, if I'm not mistaken, and locked in, and they want a chip. They want some chips together. Is it possible? Lindor would have to put his pride aside and realize this kid is the star. They're coming to see him and me. So it is possible.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be done.
He has played second before, so it's not like it's foreign to him, but I don't know, dude. I think yeah. I mean, you have a point. It's not like he couldn't play second. I just don't see why he would want to. But we shall see. Walt, I'll let you end this one.
Look, I don't. Toronto may be a good team to pair him with Vlad. Toronto may be a good team to pair him with Vlad. I could not see him going to the Mets. Toronto right now, I just looked up, they only have about $20 million in available cap right now. I don't know if that's going to be enough. As far as Ellie staying in Cincinnati, he turned down a multi-year contract already earlier this year. So unless they break the bank for him.
Lindor gets traded. Okay. So he's adding more to the puzzle. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I don't see that happening with the Mets. Like, even if that were to occur, I don't think Ellie wants to go there. I think that if he doesn't get a contract that breaks the bank, he's definitely going to want to go to another team. I think one of those big market teams, like we talked about. I don't see him going to like the team like the Mets or anything. Maybe the Cubs.
So you're going with Boston.
Maybe the Cubs. Maybe the Boston Red Sox. That's why I could see him going to.
I'm gonna piggyback on you and say Boston, but I like Mack's vision of the Yankees. Yankees have money, and the Yankees, when they want somebody, I just don't see Lindor leaving positions. I don't see the Mets trading him. So we shall see, dude. All right, dude. Well, that is a wrap for tonight. I want to thank you guys again. Another fire Monday, dude. Oh my God. I never thought I'd be so happy to see Mondays anymore, but man, Mondays are just such a joy. I'm going to let Walt say his parting shouts. Floor is yours, sir.
Look, America, we appreciate you. America, we appreciate you. Our dedicated listen fans. Keep telling a friend to tell a friend. We appreciate you. We appreciate your efforts. We're going to see if I'm going to be eating humble pie. And if you let me know what type of pie you want me to eat if I do lose. Or, it's hardly going to happen. Tell them what pie they have to eat. Keep shining, America.
All right. Stay in the studio, my friend. All right, Mack. First of all, me and you aren't going to need to eat any pie. So make sure you have a full stomach next week because Walt's going to be eating. He's going to be eating a lot of pie. Then let me ask you this. If he loses, that's 2 pies he's got to eat, right? One for both of us.
I
think that's fair. I think you got to eat two little
maybe
mini
have a
pies.
sample from both. Maybe
A
we'll
little
let him
sample
know.
from both.
You
I'm
need to
fair.
get this one and you need to get that one. And a sample for both, double fist.
There you go. All right, sir.
No problem at all. So, America, as usual, Boink Studios is where you can find us out. Please like, share. As Walt says, tell a friend, another friend. I want to give a special shout out again to Garvin's Getaways. As far as being his travel agent, Ms. Val Garvin, she can take care of all of your needs, whether it be flights, whether it be cruises. DM me for more details. Keep on supporting Lonnie Best as well. And America in general, you're right. It was Mother's Day. So I do hope everyone got an opportunity to share thoughts. And for those who mother may be gone, may you embrace that day also too yesterday with just reflection of good memories. So other than that, America, keep like, share, and subscribing to Boink Studios.
Thank you, brother. Stay in the studio. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you again for watching Ray Sports and Slams. I appreciate all of that love. It is amazing. We are really just doing our thing. Please like, share, subscribe. BoinkStudios.com is where you can find us. Next week, Walt will be eating some tasty pie. I'll be doing the cha-cha slide and laughing. And me and Mack will be on a full stomach and just watching him eat. Thank you, guys. I will see you next week. Have a good night. See you Monday, 6 o'clock.